everybody, and in this video I'm going to be telling you how exactly you go about completing the Crucible quest line so that you can unlock the weekly PvP bounty from Shaxx. So for those of you that are not aware, the weekly PvP bounty is basically the PvPers version of a nightfall. It gives you the chance of getting an exotic, so definitely an important thing for all of us to unlock at some point. And in this video I'm going to be going through all of the quests that you have to do in order to unlock it, and I'm going to be showing you what the bounties are, what exactly you get for completing this entire quest line. Now the quest line is incredibly long, so please stick with me as I tell you everything that you need to do in order to do it. But first things first, let's take a look at what happens when you actually finish the entire quest line. So when you finish it, you go to Shaxx and he gives you a rocket launcher. The rocket launcher is not that great, but the only way to get it is by completing this quest chain, so I was using it because it made me feel special. And then once you do complete that, you accept your rocket launcher, you can go ahead and take a look at the weekly PvP bounties, which you can see me doing right here. You have things like earn points in any feature playlist, Crucible wins are worth 3 points, starting a new match costs 1 point, you have complete the daily Crucible on 3 different days. This is why it is very important to just do it as quickly as possible, because it's going to take you a minimum of 3 days to actually complete the weekly PvP bounty, because you have to do the daily PvP on 3 different days. So I'm happy I completed it as soon as I possibly could, because that puts a time thing on it. Like, it has to take 3 days. It cannot take any less than 3 days. Now, not only does completing this quest chain give you the ability to do the weekly PvP bounty, but it also unlocks a bunch of separate bounties from the Crucible Quartermaster. So new bounties, always a good thing, helps you level up, helps you get moats, helps you get packages, which gets you better gear. So it's definitely a really awesome thing to have unlocked, and you only have the ability to access these once you finish the quest. So just to recap, you have to complete this quest line, which I'm going to tell you exactly what you have to do to complete that quest in order to get the weekly PvP bounties. The weekly PvP bounties at the end of completion grant you the ability to possibly get an exotic, or it's going to be a super awesome legendary, basically nightfall tier rewards. You also unlock additional bounties from the Crucible Quartermaster, which is always super cool. Now let's get into the long part, the entire explanation of what you have to do for this Crucible quest chain. The very first quest is called Crucible Forged, and from what I know, you have to be level 40 in order to get this, and maybe also Crucible rank 3, not entirely sure, but I wouldn't be surprised if it required those 2 things. The things that you have to do to complete this first quest is that you have to defeat opposing guardians in a control match while your team holds at least 2 control zones, and that is a total of 8 kills that you need whilst you are controlling 2 control zones. Next, you go and talk to Lord Shaxx to obtain the quest Crucible Combat. Within this quest, you're gonna find a bunch of bounties. The first one is No Guns Barred, where you have to defeat opposing guardians in the Clash playlist, and that's a total of 12 kills. Next up is Not My Runner, where you have to defeat opposing guardians while your team has an active runner in the Rift playlist. That's 5 kills. Next is on to Free For All, where you have to defeat opposing guardians in the Rumble playlist with a total of 12 kills. Next is Small Team Tactics, where you have to defeat opposing guardians in the Skirmish playlist, and that's a total of 8 kills. Next we have Spelunking with Guns, where you have to capture relics in the Salvage playlist, and that's 3 relics. And what they mean by capturing those relics is not just initially capturing it, but actually going the full way and not letting the enemy team get rid of your relic. So you have to do the entire thing. After you complete all of those, you have to go and talk to Lord Shaxx again and accept the quest Conquer the Day. The first part of this quest is Participation Point, where you have to complete a match in the daily Crucible playlist. Next up is Spoils to the Victor, where you have to win a match in the Crucible daily playlist. Then we have Making a Statement, where you have to win multiple matches in the Crucible daily playlist, and that is a total of 4 wins. After you're done with that, you can go to Lord Shaxx again, and then you'll be moving on to the factions part of this quest. Now, it is worth noting that you don't need to pledge your allegiance to any of these factions in order to complete this quest. I thought I was gonna have to. I was freaking out. I was like, this is gonna take a minimum of 3 weeks. That is terrible, but you don't have to do that. Don't worry, guys. You don't have to pledge allegiance. Now, this is an incredibly long part of the quest chain, so please stay with me. First thing that you have to do is go and talk with the Dead Orbit guy to complete his This is Dead Orbit territory quest. You have to win matches in the control playlist for Dead Orbit. So basically you have to win 2 control matches. Next up, you have Dead Orbit Rifter, where you have to win 2 matches in Rift. Then you're going to be moving on to Future War Cult, where you have to visit the Future War Cult representative, and you can move on to their quest chain. The first part of the quest chain is to win Clash games, which is of 2. All of these are 2 wins per mode that you're playing. Next up, you're on to Rumble, where you have to finish as one of the top 3 competitors. So you can be 1, 2, or 3, and you have to do that twice. Then you're going to be moving on to New Monarchy, so head back to the tower and talk to the Future War Cult person, then go and talk to the New Monarchy person, and you can start on their bounties. The first one is New Monarchy Skirmisher, where you have to win 2 games in Skirmish. Then you're on to Relic Seeker, where you have to win 2 games in Salvage. After you're done with that, you can go and talk to Executor Hideo, who's the New Monarchy guy, and then you go and talk to Lord Shaxx to complete the factions portion of this quest chain. After you're done with that, you're probably thinking that it's over because it was incredibly wrong. No, it never ends. It literally never ends. After you're done with the factions portion, you're gonna move on to the elimination portion. You accept the quest Trials Practice from Lord Shaxx, and you have to win 5 games in elimination. You're kind of doing trials practice. That's what it's all about. But luckily, that's the only part of that quest. There's not multiple steps, it's just 1. After you're done with trials practice, you head back to Lord Shaxx, turn that in, and accept the Breaking the Ceiling quest from Archite 9940, which is the Crucible Quartermaster. This is another fairly long quest chain, but it's not too bad. The first portion of this quest chain is called More Bullets, where you have to get 3 wins with at least 6 auto rifle kills. After you're done with that, you move on to Burst of Bullets, where you have to win 3 games with at least 6 pulse rifle kills. You can see where we're going with this. You can see. Next up, we have Nimble Bullets, where you have to win 3 times with at least 6 scout rifle kills. And then you're on to Point and Shoot, where you have to get at least 6 hand cannon kills with 3 wins. After you're done with that, you can return to Banshee 44 to turn in your quest. And you are finally on to the last portion of this stupid quest chain, which is absolutely ridiculous, and it is called the Mountaintop, where you accept it from Lord Shaxx. Now, this is actually a pretty weird quest, but when I explain it fully to you guys, you will understand it's not that complicated. It is called Crucible Master. You have to earn 9 points. Crucible wins are worth 3 points, but starting a new match costs 1 point. So basically what this means is that you're gonna have to get 4 wins in a row. If you lose a game, it's gonna take you a little bit longer than that, but you just have to get 4 wins in a row and you can just finish it, which is pretty simple. Of course, if you have a team, it's a lot easier to do that. After you're done with that, you can return to Lord Shaxx to turn in the quest, where you can get the heavy weapon upgrade, which I told you it's called the Hothead, and I showed you what that is, and you will grant access to do the weekly PvP bounty, which is the bounty that gives you a chance of getting an exotic. It was an incredibly long quest, but I was determined to finish it quickly, and I'm so glad that I did, because of one of the portions of the weekly bounty being that you have to complete the daily on 3 separate days. So I am extremely happy that I completed it when I did. I was able to give you guys all of the information and show you how to do it, show you what it looks like. So I'm happy with my choices. I may be a little bit behind in light, but I can catch up. I can catch up. So that is pretty much it, guys. You now have the ability to get yourself some exotics and get some extra bounties from the Crucible Quartermaster. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful, and good luck out there, guys. It is a very long journey. Bye.